Tonga, Batonga, Balumbila, Batoka, Bawe Toka. Welcome to our podcast, where we explore the fascinating world of different cultures and ethnic groups. In today's episode, we delve into the vibrant history and unique traditions of the Tonga people of Zambia and Zimbabwe, also known as Batonga. As we explore the history of the Tonga people, we will examine their identity, demographics, and location. We will delve into their creation mythology and belief systems. Additionally, we will discuss various aspects of their lifestyle and culture. So, join us as we uncover the rich cultural tapestry of the Tonga people, their connection to the land, and their profound influence on the communities they reside in. But before we begin, we'd like to remind you, our wonderful listeners, to subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. By subscribing, you'll have instant access to all our captivating content. And if you enjoyed today's episode on the Tonga people, please take a moment to give us a thumbs up or a like. Your support means the world to us and helps us reach more curious minds like yours. Don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and anyone else who might find it fascinating. Together, we can spread knowledge and appreciation for the diverse cultures that make our world so beautiful. So, without further ado, let's embark on this enlightening journey into the world of the Tonga people. Get ready to be captivated by their stories, traditions, and the indomitable spirit that defines their vibrant culture. Thank you for joining us, and let's dive into the wonders of the Batonga people. The Tonga people of Zambia and Zimbabwe, also called Batonga, are a Bantu ethnic group of southern Zambia and neighboring northern Zimbabwe, and to a lesser extent in Mozambique. They are related to the Batoka, who are part of the Tokalea people in the same area, but not to the Tonga people of Malawi. In southern Zambia, they are patrons of the Kafuetwa. They differ culturally and linguistically from the Tsonga people of South Africa and southern Mozambique. The Tonga occupy much of southern province in Zambia, formerly northern Rhodesia, spilling over on the east into Zimbabwe, once southern Rhodesia or Rhodesia. The Tonga people in Kalomo and Livingstone districts are known as Toka. To the north are Plateau Tonga. Gwembe Tonga live in Gwembe district and in nearby Zimbabwe. The Tonga never formed a single political unit. Today, they are an ethnic group united by common language and in opposition to other Zambian ethnic groups with whom they compete. Linguistic affiliation. The Tonga people, residing in central and northern Zambia and adjacent regions in Zaire, speak various dialects of Sai Tonga, a central Bantu language which forms a crucial part of their cultural identity. Missionary efforts in the early 20th century to document Sai Tonga played a vital role in preserving the language and its unique features, leading to the development of a modest body of literature reflecting Tonga heritage and oral traditions. However, many Tonga writers today prefer English for its wider audience and global reach, contributing to the global literary landscape while also maintaining their cultural identity. Despite this preference for English, the Central Plateau dialect of Sitonga is gaining recognition as the standard variant for education and official communication, promoting linguistic unity and continuity within the Tonga community. This linguistic landscape reflects a delicate balance between preserving traditional Sai Tonga dialects and integrating English for modern communication needs, symbolizing the resilience and adaptability of Tonga language and culture in a changing world. I urge Tonga writers to embrace and write in the Tonga language to preserve and promote our cultural heritage. By writing in Tonga, you help keep our language alive for future generations, ensure that our stories and traditions are passed down, and reinforce our unique identity. Your contributions can make a lasting impact on our community and inspire others to value and maintain our rich linguistic heritage. Let's now talk about Tonga mythology on creation. Tonga mythology on creation. In the land of Monze, nestled amidst rolling hills and lush greenery, a captivating local tradition weaves a tale of the town's origins. Long before the British set foot on this land, an extraordinary chief ruled over the people of Monze, his authority emanating from a celestial lineage. According to oral tradition, the first Monze chief descended from the heavens, a divine figure who called upon the Tonga people to gather under his benevolent leadership. His arrival was accompanied by a sense of awe and wonder, as if the very heavens themselves had chosen him to guide and protect the people. The chief's reign was marked by extraordinary abilities that inspired reverence and admiration among his subjects. His power to heal the sick and wounded was legendary, restoring hope and vitality to those who sought his aid. With a mere touch, he could alleviate suffering and bring solace to the afflicted. But it was not just his healing powers that set him apart. The chief possessed a profound connection with the natural world, able to summon rain to nourish the fertile lands of Monze and surrounding areas. In times of drought, when the earth cried out for water, he would beseech the heavens, and the clouds would gather, releasing a gentle shower to revive the parched soil. Yet, perhaps his most remarkable gift was his ability to maintain harmony and tranquility within his chiefdom. Through his profound communication with the spirits of the ancestors, he possessed an uncanny insight into the intentions of those who sought to disrupt the peace. Time and again, he frustrated the plans of enemies, ensuring that the people of Monze could live in a state of serenity. The chief's benevolence and extraordinary powers endeared him to the people of Monze. They revered him as a divine figure, a bridge between the mortal realm and the ethereal heavens. His presence brought prosperity and unity to the town, fostering a deep sense of gratitude and loyalty among his subjects. As the years passed, the legacy of the first Monze chief lived on, ingrained in the hearts and minds of the Tonga people. The tale of his celestial descent and his remarkable abilities became an integral part of Monze's mythology, a testament to the power of faith and the enduring bonds between humans and the spiritual realm. To this day, the people of Monze honor their divine ancestral chief, cherishing the traditions and beliefs that have shaped their identity. The story of the chief's arrival from heaven, his call for the Tonga people to settle in Monze, and his extraordinary powers serves as a reminder of the town's rich heritage and the enduring connection between mortals and the divine. Before we delve into the history of the Tonga people, I kindly remind you to subscribe, like, and share the story of the Tonga people of Zambia. Your support is crucial in raising awareness and fostering appreciation for their rich culture and history. By sharing, we can ensure that their unique heritage is celebrated and preserved for future generations. Thank you for helping to keep their legacy alive. History. The oral history of the Tonga people is a rich collection of local events that spans across time, although it does not delve into great depths of the past. When examining the archaeological sites on the southern plateau, we can trace the arrival of the Tonga people from the northwest back to the 12th century AD. These early Tonga settlers practiced shifting cultivation and had a reliance on both cattle and the bountiful resources of game and fish. Their skilled craftsmanship included the creation of pottery and ironwork, and while only a few remnants of copper remain, they serve as a testament to their technical abilities. Interestingly, there is limited evidence to suggest significant differences in social status among the Tonga people during this period, nor is there substantial proof of extensive long-distance trade networks. In contrast, sites located in northern Gwembe from a similar time period reveal more diverse and abundant artifacts, leading researchers to question whether these sites were actually Tonga settlements or something else entirely. However, discoveries made at Ingombe Ilede shed light on trade connections with the Indian Ocean. Within the graves dating from the 14th and 15th centuries, trade beads, as well as intricately worked gold, copper, and bronze, were unearthed. This suggests the possibility that Ingombe Ilede served as an outpost for one of the Shona kingdoms, a theory supported by the presence of Shona speakers residing in close proximity to the area. The 18th and 19th centuries brought further upheaval to the region, as Tonga territory in northern Gwembe became a destination for Portuguese explorers and Chikunda settlers from Mozambique. Initially, these newcomers sought ivory and slaves, but eventually they decided to make the region their permanent home. This period was marked by turmoil for the Tonga people as they faced challenges from various external forces. For a brief time, Toka country was occupied by the Makololo people from southern Africa. In the latter half of the 19th century, Tonga communities across the region experienced raids from both the Lozi people of the Upper Zambezi and the Ndebele people from Zimbabwe. During this time, the Lozi established their dominance over the Toka people. In the 1890s, the British South Africa Company easily annexed Tonga territory and integrated it into the newly formed Northern Rhodesia. Eventually, in 1923, the administration of the region was handed over to the British Colonial Office. In the early stages of colonization, the British administrators organized the country into districts and established a basic administrative structure. This structure was centered around appointed village headmen, with these headmen being grouped into chieftaincies under the leadership of appointed chiefs. Ultimately, these chiefs were held accountable to the district administrators. Unfortunately, the colonization process resulted in the appropriation of significant amounts of land for European settlement. However, after 1923, native reserves were designated and allocated to the three divisions in which the Tonga people were grouped: the Plateau Tonga, the Tokalea, and the Gwembe Tonga divisions. These divisions were overseen by native authorities known as the Plateau Tonga, Tokalea, and Gwembe Tonga councils. At the beginning of the 20th century, mission groups arrived in Tonga territory. These missions played a crucial role in establishing schools and introducing plough agriculture to the Plateau region. As a result, the Plateau Tonga division began to develop a cash crop economy by the 1930s. The Toka division, hindered by porous soils, and the Gwembe Tonga division, isolated due to the presence of the escarpment, continued to seek employment as labor migrants, often finding work in Zimbabwe. It wasn't until after Zambian independence in 1964 that these restrictions on African employment and land usage, which had been reserved for European development, were lifted. Through the course of Tonga history, the oral traditions and archaeological findings form a captivating narrative of resilience, cultural exchange, and adaptation. The Tonga people have navigated the challenges of external influences while maintaining their unique identity and rich heritage. Their story is one that continues to evolve and unfold, shaping the present and inspiring future generations. Settlements. Tonga settlements are categorized as plateau or valley, with distinct characteristics shaped by geographical factors and historical events. Plateau villages traditionally comprised small clusters of huts, granaries, and cattle pens, accommodating extended families or kin groups practicing shifting cultivation. In contrast, villages on the Zambezi plain were more stable, with larger populations and long-term cultivation. Colonial regulations and infrastructure development brought some stability to plateau villages, while Gwembe Valley villages experienced fragmentation and dispersal in the late 1950s. Today, urbanization has led to migration from rural areas, with cities and towns serving as vital commercial hubs for Tonga communities. These shifts reflect the evolving economic landscape of Tonga settlements over time: economy, subsistence, and commercial activities. The Tonga people have a rich history as whole cultivators, relying on staple crops such as sorghums and millets until the 20th century. Over time, they expanded their agricultural practices to include additional crops like maize, cucurbits, ground nuts, ground peas, sweet potatoes, tobacco, and cannabis. They also engaged in hunting, fishing, and gathering wild produce to supplement their diet. Livestock played an important role in Tonga society, with cattle, goats, sheep, dogs, and chickens being reared in areas free from tsetse flies. As the community progressed, the adoption of plough agriculture became widespread, with oxen being used to till the land. Today, many Plateau Tonga farmers have substantial farms, some exceeding 100 hectares, and maintain large herds of cattle. Some farmers even own small tractors that they rent out to their neighbors. Since the 1930s, maize has become the primary crop on the plateau, although farmers have also experimented with beans, cotton, and sunflowers. The introduction of pig farming took place during the 1930s, while the shift towards plough agriculture in Gwembe occurred in the late 1950s. In Gwembe, farmers cultivate maize, sorghums, bulrush millet, and cotton, which has become the main cash crop. These crops are typically sold to government depots. Additionally, income is generated through the sale of livestock, including cattle, goats, and chickens, as well as out-of-season vegetables. However, the cultivation of tobacco has declined in importance over time. Hunting, once a significant activity, has now become limited to specific sections of Gwembe and the Western Plateau. Commercial fisheries have been established on the Kafue River and Kariba Lake, attracting many immigrant fishermen. Despite these changes, rural diets in the Tonga community still rely on the collection of plants from the surrounding bush. Crafts and specializations in the Tonga community. Crafts played a significant role in the Tonga community, although they were typically pursued as part-time occupations by specialized individuals. Among these specialists were blacksmiths, woodworkers, potters, and basket makers. The practice of a craft was considered important, as it was believed that an ancestor had entrusted a specific individual with carrying on the skill. In addition to these craftsmen, there were other specialists in the community, such as diviners, herbalists, songmakers, and hunters. These individuals contributed their expertise in various fields, adding to the diverse skill set within the Tonga society. However, with the rise of factory-made imports and a growing preference for them, some of the traditional crafts went into abeyance. This trend changed after the 1970s, when transportation became more challenging and the cost of foreign goods increased, making it difficult to obtain imports. As a result, there was a revival of old crafts as people turned back to locally produced items. This resurgence in craft production was driven not only by local use, but also by catering to the tourist trade. In addition to the revival of traditional crafts, new crafts emerged in the Tonga community. These included carpentry, brick making, auto repair, tailoring, and needlework. These new crafts provided opportunities for individuals to develop new skills and meet the growing demand for locally made products. Overall, crafts and specializations in the Tonga community have evolved over time, adapting to changing circumstances and consumer preferences. While traditional crafts have been revived, new crafts have emerged, contributing to the cultural and economic vibrancy of the community. Kinship. The Tonga people exhibit a complex kinship system and social structure rooted in clans and matrilineal descent groups. While individuals are affiliated with their mother's lineage, they also recognize ties to their father's side, fostering connections to both family branches. Local residence patterns prevail post-marriage, yet fluidity exists as sons may establish new homesteads or join other kin upon parental death or divorce, contributing to Tonga society's dynamic nature. Despite dispersion, descent groups maintain solidarity, particularly during funerals and significant events. Matrilineal kin gather, inherit from one another, and historically formed mutual defense groups. While multilateral linkages may be transient, continuity stems from matrilineal ties. Approximately 14 clans organize the Tonga people, with shared clan names indicating presumed relations. Clan joking fosters interclan ties, aiding cooperation during crucial times like funerals. Kinship terms, including Iroquois and Crow cousin terms, establish relationships and hierarchies within communities. The Tonga's intricate kinship system underscores their strong family bonds, community cohesion, and the importance of intergenerational and interclan connections. These aspects enrich Tonga society's cultural fabric and social organization. Marriage and family. Marriage customs among the Tonga people have evolved over time, reflecting a diversity of practices and opinions. Polygyny, particularly among farmers seeking additional labor, remains common, despite differing views among Christians regarding monogamy's necessity. Childhood betrothal, once prevalent, has largely ceased since the 1920s and 1950s. Marriages often occur within the same village or neighborhood, with preferences for spouses varying across Tonga subgroups. Contemporary marriages may begin with elopement or pregnancy, requiring both damages and marriage payments. Initially, couples reside in a relative's homestead, with restrictions on autonomy gradually easing. Divorce is common, and households led by single women are increasing. Property is not held jointly, disadvantaging women upon divorce or widowhood, motivating them to accumulate personal assets. Widow inheritance, once customary, faces criticism, particularly among Christians. Gender dynamics within Tonga society have shifted over time, influenced by cultural, socioeconomic, and religious factors, underscoring the complex interplay of tradition and change in Tonga marriage customs. Death and afterlife. In this cultural perspective on death and the afterlife, infants and young children have brief funeral rites, with the belief that their spirits return to their mother's womb for eventual rebirth. Adults, on the other hand, undergo elaborate funeral ceremonies in anticipation of becoming ancestral spirits. During the funeral, a guardian is chosen for the spirit, and offerings like beer are made to summon other spirits, facilitating the spirit's acceptance among them. Burials are prompt and typically near the deceased's home, sometimes in established cemeteries. Traditionally, bodies were buried in a fetal position, but now they're often laid out fully and sometimes in coffins. Christian rituals, such as prayers at the grave, are common even for non-Christian deceased individuals. Rainmaking ceremonies. Rainmaking ceremonies, known as malende or empande, hold great significance in Tonga culture. Believed to possess special skills bestowed by ancestral spirits, rainmakers or sikatongo are spiritual leaders who oversee agricultural shrines. They communicate with these spirits to ensure sufficient rains and good harvests, inheriting the spirits of the founding Tonga people. During times of drought, the rainmaker is consulted by elders to diagnose the problem and prescribe necessary actions. Typically, this involves a rainmaking ceremony, which includes sacrificing a goat and active participation from the community. The ceremony takes place at the rainmaker's house, with participants singing, dancing, and using specific colors to appease the rain spirits. The rainmaker communicates with the rain spirits and informs the community about the upcoming weather and agricultural prospects. After the ceremony, the rainmaker leads the community to the hot springs, where further rituals are performed to call upon the rain spirits. The rainmaker's role is crucial as they convey vital information about rain and harvest to the community. Once the ritual is complete and rain falls, participants joyfully return home, grateful for the much-needed precipitation. Tonga female initiation rite. In Tonga tradition, when a girl reaches puberty and experiences her first menstrual cycle, she cries to signal her coming of age. Her mother then calls upon the paternal aunt to teach her about menstruation and self-care. Girls are strongly cautioned against premarital sex, as it diminishes their bride price, often paid in cattle. An initiation ceremony called kuvundika follows, lasting 1 to 2 months, during which girls are secluded and taught about respect, hygiene, and adult responsibilities. During seclusion, girls attend school but return promptly to their initiation hut afterward. The village is informed of the initiation by beating a traditional drum called ndandala. Elderly women guide the girls and teach them about respecting their future in-laws and other important life skills. The initiation concludes with a ceremony called Nkolola. 2 days prior, the girls are symbolically tested for composure and strength. The night before release, they're singing and dancing, with animals slaughtered for a celebratory feast. On the release day, the kamwale, the initiated girl, is led out by elderly women and presented to the community. Her father unveils her, offers blessings and advice, and gives gifts. Others present gifts as well, marking the girl's transition into adulthood. Importance of coming-of-age ceremony, Nkolola. The Nkolola ceremony holds great significance as a coming-of-age ritual for girls reaching puberty. It serves to prepare them for womanhood and potentially motherhood, while also informing ancestral spirits of the girl's transition. Conducted by respected elderly women, the ceremony involves instruction and confinement, resembling a school for womanhood. In addition to these personal milestones, Tonga culture includes ceremonies to honor the dead, known as Budima or Ngoma Buntibe. These rituals acknowledge the beneficial role of ancestral spirits as protectors, but also recognize their potential to cause harm if neglected. While some aspects of these ceremonies have evolved or disappeared due to social disruptions and the influence of Christianity and Western beliefs, they remain significant cultural practices. During a Budima ceremony following a death, the community gathers, signaled by the sounding of a large drum and the performance of a war cry. The procession to the funeral site involves specific preparations, such as haircuts and appropriate attire. Multiple Budima troops may converge at the site, but only one performs at a time to avoid conflict. The ceremony includes drumming, spear dancing, singing by men and women, and the rhythmic shaking of rattles by women, indicating the solemnity and importance of the occasion. Conclusion. In conclusion, the Tonga people of Zambia exhibit a rich and diverse cultural heritage characterized by unique traditions, ceremonies, and social structures. From significant rituals like the Nkolola ceremony marking the transition into adulthood to the elaborate Budima ceremonies honoring the departed, Tonga culture reflects a deep connection to ancestral spirits and a profound respect for tradition. Despite the influences of modernity and external beliefs, the Tonga people maintain a strong sense of identity and pride in their cultural practices, which continue to play a central role in shaping their collective identity and community cohesion. Through their customs and ceremonies, the Tonga people of Zambia preserve and pass down their rich cultural heritage, ensuring its endurance for generations to come.